Question 11. In the equations below, I refers to the amount of money in dollars invested in the production of X products and P refers to the profits. What is the break-even number of products where the investments are equal to the profits? So we have two equations below. First equation, I is equal to 15,200 plus 0.75x is the investment and P is the profit. So first of all, what we need to do is visualize what's going on here with the two equations. So they're both linear. So we could draw a little sketch here whenever we get something like this. And we can put the number of products along the axis, that's the production. And we could put the monetary related outputs, I and P, on the other axis. So they'll be in dollars. Alright, so we know that if we just sketch them out, we know that P is 5.5x, and then I will start over here on the other axis pretty high at 15,000 and increase at a rate of 0.75. Okay, so they're going to cross over at a certain point, and we need to find out that crossover amount for the products. So it's very straightforward, as P is equal to I when it's break even. Okay, now what we need to do is just solve the maths. So 5.5 by x is equal to 15,200 plus 0.75 by x. And when I bring across the 0.75, I'll get 5.5 minus 0.75, which is 4.75. And then on the other side I have 15,200. So if we look at 5 into 15,000, that would give us approximately 3,000. So our two answers are either B or C. We don't really know yet. So if we divide across by 4.75, we know that it's going to surpass the 3,000, as 4.75 is smaller than 5. So it'll be approximately 3,200. Therefore, C is the answer. Question 14. If 2 brackets mx minus 2, open brackets nx plus 5 is equal to the quadratic 8x squared plus bx minus 20, and also m plus n is equal to 5, what are the two possible values of p? So it looks complicated at the start. So what we will do over here will be multiply out our brackets to get a full expression. So this will become a result of 2mn by x squared, and we will have 2 by m by x by plus 5 is plus 10mx, and 2 by negative 2 by nx is negative 4nx, and finally 2 by minus 2 by 5 is minus 20. So take your time multiplying it out and we will have the full expression. Right, so now we can compare and we can use the coefficient of the x squared over here with the coefficient of the x squared here of the expressed out combination. So 2mn is equal to 8. Therefore, m is equal to 4 over n, divided across by 2n. Alright, so now we can get a solution for one of the variables. So if we use the linear equation, we can substitute n minus 5 minus n instead of n. So 5 minus n is equal to m, which is also equal to 4 over n. Okay, so we have m plus n is equal to 5, and look, we'll get m is equal to 5 minus n, and just substitute it in here and here. Okay, so now we have to simplify this even further. Multiply across by our n, and we'll get 5n minus n squared is equal to 4. Bring every term to the right hand side, and we'll get 0 is equal to n squared minus 5n plus 4. If we factorize this, we will get n minus 4 multiplied by n minus 1. So the two values of n will become 4 or 1. So when n is equal to 4, remember n plus m is equal to 5, so m is equal to 1. And when n is equal to 1, m is equal to 4. Right, so we use those in the final part. So there are combinations, combination 1 and combination 2. So n is equal to 1 here. Alright, so we have to compare the coefficients of the x now to solve for p. So if we look at the p is the coefficient of x, and also we have 10m and minus 4n as the coefficients of x. So the coefficient of x, okay, on one side we will get p, and on the other side we have the 10m minus 4n. Now we're going to substitute this set in, and we will get p is equal to 10 by m is 1 and n is 4. So we'll get 10 by 1 minus 4 by 4. So 10 by 1 is 10, and minus 4 by 4 is minus 16. So 10 minus 16 will give a result of negative 6. And for the second set, let's go over here. P is equal to 10m minus 4n, which again is equal to 10 by m is 4 now, and n is 1, minus 4 by 1, which will give a result of 40 minus 4, which is 36. So therefore, if we look up, you can see it now, the answer is A. Welcome to question 15 solution. What is the sum of all values of x that satisfy the following equations? So we have a quadratic equation here, and we want to find the roots of the equation, or the solutions of the equation. So if we look at this, it's not equal to 0. So we're going to bring across our values. So we have 3x squared minus 3x minus 34 minus 2, all on the left hand side. So we have 3x squared minus 3x minus 36 is equal to 0. As we have commonality of a divisor of 3 across the board, we can divide all values by 3. So we have x squared minus 1x minus 12 is equal to 0. Now we can look at the factors, and we will get two sets of brackets which will be a product. So we get x and x multiplied to x squared, and 3 and 4 will multiply to 12, which have a difference of 1. We will attach negative 4 in the second factor and plus 3 in the first factor, as the cross multipliers would be minus 4x plus 3x, and we would have a result of negative 1. And that is the value here. Alright, so now we have the two factors. So x plus 3 is equal to 0. So x will be equal to minus 3. And also we have x minus 4 to be 0. That means x is equal to plus 4. So in the question we're getting the sum of the values that satisfy the equation. So the sum of, let's call it x1 and x2. So x1 plus x2 will give a result of plus 1. So the answer is C. Welcome back to Maths Plus. We're on question 16. Let's read it. A number of cash prizes were awarded for the top salespeople at ABC Communications, each in the amount of $100, $200 and $400. If the prizes totaled $1,600 and there were 7 total prizes awarded, what is the greatest number of $100 prizes awarded? We need to grid our answer. Alright, so the important aspect here is 7, as we need to apply different numbers to the amounts to match up to 1,600. So let's see how we're going to grid this first of all. So first of all, we're going to put our prizes combinations over here on the left hand side. So we'll do our maths over here. We can compare our totals then to see if we can get our €1,600 target over here. So this value needs to be down here, okay, for all the combinations. So let's start off with some number. We got to start somewhere, so let's start low. Alright, so we can see here that if we choose 2, 3 and 2, we can get a total of 7. So if we apply 2 to the 100, 3 to the 400 and 2 to the 200, we will get 200 plus 1,200 plus 400, which will give us a total of $1,600. So this is on point, it's on target at the moment. But let's see, is there a higher number of €100 prizes, dollar prizes available? So if we choose 3, we can go 3 by 100 plus 2 by 400. That would be 300 plus 800 is 1,100 plus another 400 from the 2 by 200, and that's $1,500. So there would be an amount left over, but remember we're restricted by the 7 here. So we've 3, 2 and 2 is 7. So we can't add in another $100 here because then we'd have 8 prizes. So this one doesn't work out. Alright, so let's go again. Let's go on to 4. And we have 4 by 100, that's 400. 3 by 400, that's 1,200. So we've used up our 7 prizes now. So we cannot choose a $200 prize. So we're going to get a total of $1,600. And that would be the highest we can get. As if we go to 5, then we can only choose 2 400s. So 500 plus 800 is 1,300. So we cannot really get any higher combinations than 4. So the answer is 4 is the greatest number of $100 prizes. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. We're on to question 17. It's a SAT MCQ. If x is greater than 0 and x squared minus 7 is equal to 9, what is the value of x? Right, so let's start off solving the equation. As you can see, we have x squared. So let's bring across your numbers. So we will have x squared is equal to 9 plus 7. As you know, 9 plus 7 is 16. So far so good. It's very easy at this stage. Now let's look at the x squared. Well, remember, the definition of a square is that any number multiplied by itself is equal to a square. So if we want to get the original number, we have to get the square root. As if we get the square root, then we will get the number which was multiplied. So we're going to go x is equal to the square root of 16. And as you know, that 4 by 4 is 16. But remember, x could be a positive or negative, so we go with plus or minus 4. Right, so we have a specific condition here, x is greater than 0. So let's grid out our answer and let's find the result. So we have x squared is equal to 16, and we're at this stage at the moment. So x is equal to plus or minus 4. So if x is greater than 0, meaning that it's a real number and it's positive, well, x cannot be equal to negative 4. So therefore we have one solution, and the solution is x is equal to positive 4. Welcome back. We're on question 18, and we have two similar triangles, ABC and EDC. And we are looking to find the length of AB, which is the horizontal line on triangle ABC. So the important term here is similar, and this refers to the shapes which are similar but have different scales. So when we have this configuration, we can correspond. We can say small side over large side is equal to small side down here over the large side of the corresponding side. So we're going to do this with the numbers to solve for AB. So start with AB on the top. So we'll say AB over, so we'll stay with the corresponding side down here. So we're going to correspond, so it's going to be over 4. And we'll go back up to the triangle ABC. We can see that the 9 corresponds to the 6. 9 over 6. Alright, so all we have to do now is multiply both sides. So let's multiply by 4 on either side. So multiply by 4. And we will get a cancellation here. And on the other side, we will get AB. The length of AB is equal to 36, 4 by 9, all over 6. So therefore, AB is equal to 6. And then have a quick look at it, and it does look correct. It does look proportional. Welcome back to the channel. We're on question 19. We have a triangle and we have some information now with cos of A is equal to 3 over 5, and we need to find the cos of 90 minus A. So this is a popular problem, so let's see how we're going to work this out. So we're going to define cos of A on our diagram and fill in the values. So 3 over 5, remember the cos of any angle is the adjacent over the hypotenuse. So the adjacent is the one on the baseline next to the angle because it's adjacent, and the hypotenuse then is the opposite the right angle. Okay, so let's put those in. So we have 5 is the longest side, the hypotenuse, and 3 the adjacent. So we're looking for 90 minus a. So we can go to a trigonometric definition where we can say that the sine of an angle is equal to the cos of 90 minus that angle. And we can do it in reverse as well. If we started with cos, and then we can say cos of a is equal to the sine of 90 minus a. So we can use those. So we need to get the sine of a from this triangle, and then we will have the cos of 90 minus a. Alright, so what do we need? Let's look at the diagram. Well, we need this side over here. We need the opposite, as the sine of a is equal to the opposite over the adjacent. Or, I beg your pardon, the opposite over the hypotenuse. Alright, so we're going to find this. So we'll use Pythagoras' theorem. So let's put it all together real quick. So 5 squared is the hypotenuse squared is equal to the sum of the opposite two sides squared, which is 3 squared plus O squared. We'll put O as the opposite. Alright, so let's work this out. So we can say that O squared is equal to 5 squared minus 3 squared. If we do it in reverse, O squared is equal to 25 minus 9, and O squared is equal to 16. Square root both sides, as remember the square root of a squared is equal to a. We need to get, so we'll get plus or minus 4 for 16, but remember we're taking positive 4 as it's real, so the opposite is 4. So now we can write in our sine of small a is equal to the cos of 90 degrees minus a degrees, which is equal to the opposite over the hypotenuse, which is equal to 4 over here over 5. And that's it. Hello everyone, and welcome back to question 20 of the MCQs. If y-intercept of a line is y is equal to negative 3, the line goes through the point 3, 1. What is the slope of the line? So let's do a sketch before we actually do any calculations. So we're going to look at the two coordinates. So all you need to do is a tiny sketch in the corner so that you can have an idea of what's going on. So 3, 1 would look like this, out 3 in the x direction and up 1 in the y direction. Alright, so that's over here. And that would be the point. And then the y is equal to negative 3. Well, let's put that in, okay? Y is equal to negative 3. Okay, and we know that coordinate would be 0 in the x direction on the y-axis. And the y coordinate is negative 3. Okay, so we have all the information here. So if we look at this carefully, we can see we have a positive slope here. So that's going to help with us in our judgment of the answer. Alright, so what we need to do now is to put it all together into the slope formula. So we'd have m is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Now we're going to assign x1, y1, x2, y2 to our coordinates. So let's start off. So 0 minus 3 is the y-intercept. We call that x1, y1. And 3, 1 is the x2, y2. Now let's substitute everything in and let's evaluate. So m is equal to y2 is down here and here. So it will be 1. y1 is negative 3. So we have a negative up here, and we will place a bracket in front of that negative 3. And then down below then we have x2 here and here. Okay, so that will be 3 minus 0. Okay, here. Right, so we have all our numbers in place. So we got to be careful with your signs. So just be very careful here. So minus 3 is a plus 3. So we'll have 1 plus 3 over 3 minus 0. And minus 0 means it doesn't have an effect. Okay, we'll have the same number. So we'll have 4 over 3. And that's our answer. So that's the final question of the 20 MCQs. And I will do a video where I'll have the questions from 10 to 20 all together for your convenience. So thank you for watching, and watch out for my next exciting set of videos.